Hi guys, and welcome to Altruistic TV. My name is Al, and I am the altruistic, I guess, in this scenario. I want to welcome you guys to the channel and give you a little bit of the background of what this is going to be about, hopefully. My concept kind of goes along with something that I'm doing currently, which is I decided that as a strategy leader, one of the best things you can do is to kind of show what it's like to be a leader, and so that everybody understands that there are different types of leaders. My particular brand is a strategy leader, and for me what that means is that I continuously live in a headspace that does nothing else but to strategize. I mean, I take everything in, but it's kind of like being like a dissector. I'm constantly breaking things down in order to understand what they're supposed to do, and then that way I can better properly tell them my advice. And so in that way, what I've done is that I decided to leave my very lucrative bartending career in New Orleans, and I decided to put my money where my mouth is. And what I've done is I've launched 4 different websites, each specifically dealing with a different form of communication. One professional, one has to do with writing blogs, and the other one has to do with the art that I create, which actually is an interesting story of how that came to be, which we'll talk about later on the channel. But essentially it had to do with the one little thought kind of started this whole thing. And then this channel will be more towards the visual, helping people understand what I'm doing on everything else, but more importantly kind of presenting the case of what it is to truly lead in America. And in the world actually too. One of the things that I also wanted to focus on was the different types. So like things like moms. The first week you're going to see is kind of like a theme for moms, because I find that as all leaders, that's pretty much the best leader I can think of. The things that they kind of have to deal with and having this life that they're in charge of is something that we don't really get to experience much. So we're going to kind of reward and celebrate mom leaders. So that'll be the first week. And then as we go through, it'll be bartenders, or it'll be whatever type of leader in your community that is capable of inspiring you through some form of adversity. The truth of the matter is that in this world, you're going to run into things that you should not have to deal with. And it is the measure of who you are and who you will become as to how you actually deal with it. And so part of leading is that you're going to make an ass of yourself throughout this life. And so by showing you what that looks like, and me with this launch, because I'm going to fall flat on my face maybe, or I'm going to be a very big success. It's not played out yet. And right now it's leaning towards I'm going to fall flat on my ass. But that's okay. That's part of life. And that's kind of what I'm doing. And I'm showing you that you can't really lead without first having followed. And you can't really follow if you haven't fallen. So you have to do the process. And it may not always look the best to you, but in the end, it's the most rewarding, I think. And there are some consequences to such things. You know, like if you're vying as a new corporate entrepreneur, which we'll discuss in great detail. I mean, my experience ranges from training departments, building manuals, to actual building of departments overall, to structure and operations. I mean, I have that experience, and we'll talk into that. There is a professional side to me, trust me. But I wanted it to encompass all of us. And so I wanted it to be a wider spectrum to talk about. And so to that end, I just welcome all the new entrepreneurs, because a lot of you may be still finding your voice. And the truth of the matter is that if you aren't vying for the strategy leadership title, there are a couple things to keep in mind, some cautionary things I should mention. First, it's a lonely existence, because you have to exist outside of the norm. You might one day have to fire your best friend, and it is what it is. It's just, you have to be able to compartmentalize that aspect of your life. And if you are a super social personality, then maybe through this channel you're going to find that maybe you want to focus on another type of leadership. But nonetheless, be a leader. It doesn't change that. And so we need to start having these conversations about the deep elements to who we are as a society. Because there's a lot of potholes coming up in the market. We are having a massive baby boom issue right now where they're leaving the major marketplace. And we don't have the numbers to balance it off. And then to boot, the ones that follow Generation X are totally disenfranchised with our idea of the establishment. So how are we going to bridge those gaps? We have a lot to talk about. And this network channel, I call it network because I have high hopes. This network channel, whatever you want to call it, has the possibility to touch at least 2 people's lives. And if I can touch 2 people's lives, you can touch 2 people's lives. So we're going to keep that chain going. And the message is we are in control of our destiny, and we are in control of how we get there. But be advised that our process, though different and right for us, can yield some negative problems, some negative aspects to it. So you have to be willing to understand your dynamic and your role, your personality and who you are, what your voice is and your branding, so that you can go out there and knock it out of the park. And that's all I can offer you. So hopefully that's a little bit of an interest. Guys, first two things I want you to do is think of the person in your neighborhood or in your immediate environment that really inspires you. Send me a note through the email link, and that way we can kind of get like at least a phone interview going as we launch. And then the other one is anybody who's been to New Orleans, I really want to hear who your favorite bartender was or what kind of experience you had with the best server. And I will go and interview them and showcase their talents as well. I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome to Altruistic TV.